Hey everyone, Mike here from MyKeyReviews, and in this video I'll be showcasing the DYU T1 pedal assisted electric bike. As a disclaimer, I was approached by DYU and was given the opportunity to choose the model I wanted to test. The reason I opted for the T1 was due to its ability to fold and its 250 watt output power, as that complies with the current UK road laws. The T1 is primarily advertised for city bike riding and retails for under £1,000. DYU runs various offers here and there, so the price may vary depending on when you are watching this video. However, at the time of the review, it was on offer for £799. Now, before I delve into its specifications, let me tell you about how it arrived. Everything was securely packed inside this box, so much that it was actually a bit of a struggle to get out. I won't show you the full footage of my unboxing, it was rather pathetic and embarrassing to watch, I must say, but nevertheless I got there in the end. Now for the contents are as follows: front and rear mudguards, power cable for charging, pedals, throttle, keys, 2 are included, a rear light and reflector, instruction manual and tools for assembly, seat and front wheel. For the most part, assembling the bike together was a fairly straightforward process. However, mounting the throttle and mudguards were not covered within the instructions. So I did have to figure this out myself, and although I got there in the end, it would have been nice if these areas were covered. As for the specifications and features of this bike, the frame is made of a magnesium alloy and has no solder joints. I must say that this bike actually feels very solidly built, so definitely a plus one there. It features a torque sensor that adjusts the motor's output power. It has a Shimano branded 7-speed transmission installed, front and rear disc brakes, and furthermore it's also got a maximum speed of 15.53 miles per hour, and it has a maximum payload of 120 kilograms. The battery has an anti-theft measure with a lock. You will need to use the key provided and may also have to remove the seat as it can get in the way. You can charge the battery whilst it's mounted or taken out, completely up to you, and it takes up to 6 hours per charge. Regarding the battery longevity, it's rated at 300 charge cycles before the efficiency dips down to 80%, and for good maintenance, you should really charge it at least once a month if you're not using it. Before we go to the riding footage, I do want to just talk about one of the key selling features about this bike, and that is the ability for it to fold down into a really compact size. And to do that, I've taken off the seats, I've folded down the handlebars, I've folded the bike in half, and even the pedals, there's a little lever inside them which you can just pull, and then that will allow you to fold them flat against the bike. So this shouldn't have much of an issue fitting in most car boots. Obviously there's going to be some really small cars out there, small boots, etc. Maybe you'll need to put the rear seats down, but typically medium size and larger cars shouldn't have an issue whatsoever. However, there is something to bear in mind, and that is this weighs 22.5 kilograms, which is 49 pounds. And yeah, so this is actually quite heavy to handle, and it is a little bit awkward. There's no real easy way of grabbing it. You just kind of, grab down here, maybe on the wheel here, and lift it up. It's a little bit awkward, but it is doable. For some people, they might feel it's a little bit too heavy, so that is something to bear in mind when you are folding it down and putting it in the car. I would say fold it down next to the car. It just makes it a little bit easier than carrying it longer distances. But now I'm going to show you how to put it back together, and it really doesn't take long at all. So first of all, we've got the seat. Put that on, put the latch over. Next, handlebars. Clip that in, then fold this out. Now there's this little latch that is facing towards me. Sometimes that flips over to the left. If you're if this is facing towards you, make sure it's over to the right. There we are. That's over. All clipped in, and then we have the pedals. Just lift that up like so, and there we have it. So that took what, like 20 seconds? Pretty impressive. One thing I do want to point out is the power button. This is a little bit more of an annoyance than a deal breaker, and it's certainly something that you get used to the more you use the bike. So to turn it on, you have to hold the power button down, I would say 5 seconds. If you do it any less, it just won't power on. But there is no indication to tell you when to release. There's no beep or no flashing light. That would be certainly a good feature to have, just to, you know, a little bit of clarity and not wasting some time if you're literally a millisecond, you know, too short. Same when it comes to going off, because if you basically press the button, you're toggling the light on and off. I do quite like that feature, but once again, about 5 seconds, and then it's off. So before I give you my opinion of this bike, I do want to state that this is the first ever electric assisted pedal bike that I've not only used but owned. So it's very much a fresh take on bicycles like this, but it also means that I can't compare it to other brands or makes because I simply don't have that experience. Now, the first thing that I personally thought may happen was that it was going to take the enjoyment out of cycling for me, and that wasn't the case at all. Well, it's literally in the title. It's an assisted electric bike, so it's not there to do all the work for you, but it's just to make it a little bit easier. So when you're riding casually down the road, you're not having as much resistance on the pedals, but you are still getting somewhat of a workout, especially if you're doing longer sessions. But where it really shines is when you're going up inclines or like slopes, hills, whatever. Like by the time you get to the top, you're not feeling gassed out that you may have been on a normal bike. For people who are really into cycling, this probably isn't going to be a bike for them because they're going to want to really get a proper workout. But for those who want that balance, then this is actually really good for that. The other thing as well with the throttle, I actually fell in love with this very, very quickly. This is an optional accessory that you can put on, but I thought, well, it doesn't get in the way when it's mounted, but at least it's there should I want to use it, rather than not having it at all and then being, oh man, I wish I had the throttle, you know. It's easy to access, but it's not in the way. Now, when you're at something like a junction where you just kind of want to pull off a little bit faster, that throttle does a really good job. You combine that with the pedal and so the throttle and the pedal together, you're going to get up to speed a lot quicker, and it just kind of makes me feel a little bit safer when I'm pulling out of a junction. And also the throttle is there should you want to have a little cruise, but overall that will impact the total range that you have on a full charge. As for how easy it is to ride, I found it not only very easy but really comfortable. It was very agile, easy to maneuver, no complaints in that regard. The suspension under the seat definitely added to the comfort and took away the edge of when you're going over bumps. But with that said, I do prefer front and rear suspensions on normal bikes. That's just my preference, but it's better having that suspension than none at all. As for the brakes, yeah, they seemed perfectly responsive. Didn't have any issues when it came to stopping, so no complaints there. As for the lights, so the front light is using the electricity of the bike itself. It is more there just to kind of make you more visible to other people in dark conditions, but it doesn't really light up the area that great. It does an okay job, but I personally felt like I needed to use my own additional bike light, a much brighter one, to light up the area a bit more. That made me feel a bit more comfortable when I was going in much darker conditions. And the tail light is just a generic rechargeable tail light. It's you can attach it on or put it off if you really want to, but you do have to manually charge that up separately. As for my overall opinion, it's definitely a really good bike to have. It's just really cool, like having that ability to fold it up. If I was going to go to work with it, I could actually store it inside and not take up too much room and bother other people. The ability to put it in a car if you want to take it somewhere else to ride, not to off-roady style. It's not really made for that. It is more for city biking. But if you want to go further away, then it's an easy bike to carry with you. Just like I said a lot earlier in the video, it does weigh about 22.5 kilograms, so it is quite weighty. Make sure you pick it up with care. Over time, you'll probably kind of like learn how to pick it up a certain way to make it easy to get into the boot. I found it a little bit awkward, but the fact that you can fit it in a boot is definitely a plus for me. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching.